So as many times as this movie got pushed back, it actually took me a while to figure out the fact that Ethan Hawke was actually playing this creepy character. It took me like 10 or 12 trailers, because honestly, I wasn't even really paying attention to like the names in the movie for some reason. I don't know how I kept missing the fact that that was Ethan Hawke, but I finally just was watching the trailer one time. I was like, yo, where'd they find this creepy guy at? Like, this is a really random guy. This could be a Skarsgård for all I know. Then I saw it. Ethan Hawke. And I was honestly just in shock. I had to give credit to whoever the makeup person was, because I really couldn't tell. For the longest, I couldn't tell. But then once I saw Ethan Hawke, I was like, yeah, that's him. That's him. Black Phone. Hey guys, it's your guy in the chair here, and this is my review for The Black Phone, starring Ethan Hawke, Mason Thames, Madeline McGraw, Jeremy Davies, and directed by Scott Derrickson. Look, our plot basically follows Ethan Hawke playing this creepy serial killer known as the Grabber. He kidnaps a bunch of kids, he takes them to his house, does whatever he does to them, and they end up missing. And essentially, once he kidnaps this Finney kid, this kid is somewhat special to him, or essentially there's something that happens to where he can't really do his full plan, so he has him locked up in his basement, and the previous kids that he essentially kidnapped and killed are all calling him on this black phone, hence the title The Black Phone, all calling him on this black phone in order to help him escape. And also, while this is all happening, the cops have already been on the case trying to figure out who the Grabber is, where he's located, and his sister, Mason Thames' sister, Madeline McGraw, she's a character where she has these supernatural powers to an extent to where her dreams can essentially come true just like her mom. And that's our plot for The Black Phone. Now, before I really get to my true thoughts on the film, I'm going to start here. Madeline McGraw and Mason Thames, the two main characters in the movie, I thought they were absolutely superb. For child actors, they actually really gave fantastic performances, especially the sister. I thought she did a phenomenal job of doing everything she needed to do in this movie. She gave good comedic relief at times. She kept a creepy tone. She was honestly a very consistent character. Her and her brother were very consistent in this movie. And Ethan Hawke was consistent as well, but I'm going to get to him in a second. I really just want to focus on the brother and sister right now because they were my favorite part of this movie, which is actually surprising because I wanted Ethan Hawke to be my favorite part of this movie. But these two kids were actually really good, and I actually really enjoyed them. They gave very good performances. I honestly don't really have much else to say about what I liked about the movie. Okay, I did like Ethan Hawke. But there is a problem that I had with Ethan Hawke as well, and I'm going to get to that when I talk about what I didn't like about the movie. But Ethan Hawke gave a very good performance, and I got to be honest, I feel like I, by myself, personally, was expecting another movie from this trailer. I was thinking that this movie was going to be a whole game of cat and mouse between the kid, Ethan Hawke, and the kids on the black phone. It essentially is that, but there's other elements to this movie that they add in, and it just kind of makes the movie, for me, like drag on, or just essentially the movie just teased a lot of things that I really didn't get, or I like they were dangling things in front of us that could have happened in the movie, but essentially they just went a whole nother direction, and Personally, I was disappointed by the movie. I walked into this movie with sky-high expectations. Like, I've been waiting a long time to really get a good horror movie in, and the best we've gotten so far this year is probably X, if I had to, rank one, but I've just been really hoping for a fantastic horror movie, man, and I have the same reaction to this movie as I did with last year's Candyman, where I walked in with sky-high expectations, but I walked out just saying, it was good. I just walked out saying it was good. Like, it was cool. Like, it didn't floor me like I wanted to. It didn't give me chills down my spine. Like, I wanted Ethan Hawke to essentially deliver like a Jack Torrance-esque performance. Like, I wanted him to be like the craziest of all crazies in this movie because he's teaming up with Scott Derrickson from Sinister. And I'm probably just going to go right into like a segue right into what I didn't like about the movie, essentially, just because the kids are the only part I really did like about the movie. So I'm probably just going to segue right into what I didn't like. So like I said, Ethan Hawke did give a good performance, but I feel like for me personally, I just didn't get enough from his character throughout this movie. Like, I wanted more Ethan Hawke. And essentially what I mean by that is, throughout this movie, at least for the first like 25 minutes, we are introduced to like the case. Like essentially, there's just kids. They go about their normal lives, and then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, this black van shows up, and the kids disappear. Like there's sort of a trend with that. But once we get to the whole cat and mouse game with the kid and Ethan Hawke, I feel like I'm not getting enough of either Ethan Hawke's backstory, or I'm just not getting like enough of his sense as a serial killer. Like I'm not. I guess, like, you know, all serial killers don't have to reveal why, or, you know, like all these questions don't necessarily have to have answers in movies. But for me personally, what makes me resonate with a villain, or what makes me resonate with a killer in a movie a little more, or it makes me appreciate the character a little more, is if you give them more of a richer story to, like, maybe not, okay, it doesn't even have to be the story perspective. But if we're just going to skip over all the other kids, like, kidnappings, and especially the fact that he's not kidnapping, like, just everyday weak nobodies. Like, one of the kids he kidnapped literally beat the crap out of a kid in the beginning of the movie. Like, the complete crap out of a kid who was way bigger than him. So I'm trying to figure out, like, at least for entertainment value, or essentially just for perspective on how Ethan Hawke goes about this, I would have liked to see how he kidnaps the other kids or kills the other kids. Every time that they show that, and I think they only show it twice, they really just showed the van show up and Ethan Hawke got out, and then they just phased out. They just blacked away to the screen, and then all of a sudden the kid was missing. I felt like I could have got more from Ethan Hawke's character for that. And that's another thing for me. I just felt like the movie kind of dragged on. It was only like an hour and 43 minutes, but I felt like for parts of the movie that didn't involve the kid, Finney, Mason Thames, his sister, Madeline McGraw, the stuff that didn't involve Ethan Hawke, like, straight, because like I said, I left this movie thinking I could get more of Ethan Hawke. Whatever didn't involve those three, or essentially this whole concept around the black phone and the sister's supernatural powers, I didn't really care for. There are cops in the movie. They're not like dumb, dull cops. They're pretty good. They're okay. There's a lot of kids in this movie to where I don't really care for much of them. There was one kid that was friends with Finney in the beginning of the movie that I cared for their relationship. I thought he was the only kid I really cared for. Other than that, you don't even know, like, most of these kids on the phone. You just learn about them as they're calling. And I don't know, for me, I just felt like there was a lot of inconsistent juggling tones throughout this movie. Like, I felt like they were I honestly feel like they were trying to do what Sinister did, and that's keep a consistent creepy tone throughout the movie, but also try to juggle comedic relief and just other little tones to make the movie a little more entertaining. But Sinister did that way more perfectly than this did. And like I said, this movie has an 86 on Rotten Tomatoes, and I was honestly, like, very confused about why I didn't love this movie more than I did. But I just can't bring myself to say that I love this movie. Like, I can only bring myself to say it was okay, that it was good. I wanted to love this movie so much. I was actually very disappointed that I didn't love it. I'm still disappointed that I didn't love it. I felt like I walked out and I was missing something. Like, I felt like I didn't get what everyone else did from this movie. Granted, I'm not saying like everybody in my theater walked out like, oh my God, that was so amazing. But it's like, I'm walking in. It's the same thing that happened with, like I said, it's the same thing that happened with Candyman. Last year's Candyman, I personally thought that there was a lacking presence of the actual Candyman. Like, when I was a kid, Tony Todd, the voice, all that used to creep the hell out of me. Like, it was terrifying. And I felt like while Yahya Abdul-Mateen gave a fantastic performance, I was just lacking a presence of Candyman. And I honestly feel the same about this. While Ethan Hawke gave a fantastic performance, I felt like I was lacking a presence of him. Now, the movie's called The Black Phone. So I don't know how much we were really gonna, I don't know how much they really were like wanted to focus on Ethan Hawke itself. Like, the black phone concept is interesting. It makes the movie, you know, more entertaining in a sense. But if I'm being real, I probably could have, like I said, the movie's called The Black Phone, so this is probably stupid, but I could have did without the black phone. I could have just did a cat and mouse game between this kid, Ethan Hawke, the sister having dreams, tracking them down. Like, there's a lot of interesting things and a lot of interesting themes in this movie. I just felt like none of them were very developed very well or carried out very well. I feel like this movie kind of just, it makes sense in some parts and then just does whatever it wants in others. And honestly, like I said, the reason I say this is because in the editing of this movie, there's a lot of parts that I feel like they just like skip to. Like there's some shots where they show like 5 seconds of the sister. Like there's literally a scene in the movie, the sister's just passed out in class. Like she's sleeping. The teacher literally just says, hey, you should go to the nurse's office and go to sleep. And then we cut right back to the brother, and it's like, did I have to see that? Did I need that in this movie? Now, I'm a nitpicker. I do apologize. And that honestly, I feel like I'm gonna be in the rare group of this movie. Like I this is rare for me. Like I really wanted to love this movie. I wanted to come out saying like this is one of the best horror movies I've seen in years. I need a horror movie. Like I feel like I haven't seen a great horror movie since maybe like Midsummer or yeah, probably Midsummer. I don't know. I can't even think. But I really was hoping that this movie would just be more, and I just walked out not feeling fulfilled like I wanted to. So overall, guys, look, I just think The Black Phone really wasn't for me. I really wanted Ethan Hawke to give like one of the most legendary performances of his career with this. Like I said, he gives a very good performance. He has multiple of these creepy ass masks, and it's just like, oh my gosh, bro, why do you have so many of these? Like I said, I don't know if, serial killers really have to explain themselves, essentially. Like, it's just like, when you have your great Kaiser Soze's or your whatever the, Kevin Spacey's name was in Seven, and you have your fantastic serial killers, and it's just like, at least give me honestly, this is a perfect way to say it. Give me a method to his madness. Give me a method to the serial killer's madness. Give me an inside look into his mind. Like I'm all good with the concept of the Black Phone. I'm all good with the like I said, the 2 kids were honestly the standouts of this movie. I thought they did a phenomenal job. I thought Ethan Hawke did really good. I really just, this is Ethan Hawke and Scott Derrickson we're talking about. Like, Sinister is an absolute creepy movie from start to finish. Like, that movie, this movie does, follow off of Sinister's creepy imagery. But here's the thing. We see these kids all in the aftermath of what happened to them. Like, we don't necessarily see what happened to them at all. And, you can make an argument that this movie isn't about the kids. But, look, I'm going to be real. If this movie isn't about those other kids, if this movie isn't about, Ethan Hawke, and you're going to say, oh, it's about the Black Phone. Well, the kids are on the phone, so what is this movie really about? Essentially what I'm trying to say here is, I wish they had given something, one of these 3 elements, either the Black Phone, actually no, 2 elements, either the Black Phone or Ethan Hawke, mainly Ethan Hawke. I wish they would have gave them more of a purpose and a reasoning in a sense. Like the Black Phone is really just there for the kids to communicate with him and so he can get out. Honestly, like I said, I probably could have did without the supernatural. Like it really doesn't need to be a phone. Like it's crazy because the kids even bring up that Ethan Hawke still he can hear the phone ringing too. He still thinks it rings. They never explained to me any significance between Ethan Hawke and the phone. That's what I'm trying to say here. Like there's no method to any of this madness going on in the movie. I can appreciate horror movies more. I can appreciate these thrillers more when there's a method to the madness going on. And for me, there just wasn't enough method in this madness. And like I said, I just walked out thinking it was an okay movie. And honestly, 3 stars didn't feel right. 2.5 definitely didn't feel right. I'm a Letterboxd nerd, so immediately after my movies, I'm pulling out my Letterboxd app. I'm clicking through, trying to figure out what I wanted to rate it. I pressed 3 stars. 3 stars didn't feel right. 2.5 felt too low. So for all those reasons and more, guys, I'm going to go ahead and give The Black Phone 2.75 out of 5 stars. All right, guys, so The Black Phone, what did you think about it? Did you see it? Essentially, if you liked it, please let me know what you did. Look, I'm actually very upset that I didn't like this movie. I got to be real with you. I'm not happy that I didn't like this movie as much as I wanted to, but I'm really hoping you guys can let me know what you liked about the movie and just at least give me an inside look about what was good, not what was good, because I'm not going to trash on this movie like it was bad, because it was an okay movie. For me, it was just average. It was on par. It just, like I said, I walked in with sky high expectations, left out kind of just in the middle of the road, middle of the bar. But if you guys have seen it, please leave a comment below, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Please be sure to like, subscribe. Guys, this is your guy in the chair. I'm Terrell Henderson. Thank you so much for watching, and more content coming to you soon.